What purpose does the gentlelady from Wisconsin seek recognition?
I have a point of order. I raise a point of order against H.Res. 614 because the resolution violates Section 426A of the Congressional Budget Act. The resolution contains a waiver of all points of order against consideration of the bill, which includes a waiver of Section 425 of the Congressional Budget Act, which causes a violation of Section 426 fair and A.
The gentlelady from Wisconsin makes a point of order that the resolution violates Section 426A of the Congressional Budget Act of 1974. The gentlelady has met the threshold burden under the rule. The gentlelady from Wisconsin and a member opposed each will control 10 minutes of debate on the question of consideration. Following debate, the chair will put the question of consideration as the statutory means of disposing of the point of order. The chair recognizes the gentlelady from Wisconsin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Speaker, I raise this point of order not necessarily out of concern for unfunded mandates, although there are likely some in the underlying bill, H.R. 4089. But before I begin, Mr. Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry.
Gentlelady will state the inquiry.
The rule clearly states, quote, pending the adoption of a concurrent resolution on the budget for fiscal year 2013, the provisions of House Concurrent Resolution 112, as adopted by the House, shall have the force and effect in the House as though Congress had adopted such concurrent resolution, unquote. Does this mean that the rule deems that the Senate will have passed H.Con. Res. 112?
The chair will not interpret the resolution. That is a matter of debate.
Okay. We will have to debate this. The language as I have construed it says it shall have force and effect in the House as though Congress, which would include the Senate, had adopted such concurrent resolution. That is subject to debate. So I want the House to be really clear here, that given this language, there's a real, it seems probable and likely that if we vote yes for House Concurrent Resolution 112, the Republican budget, which ends Medicare for a voucher system, ends the entitlement under Medicaid, cuts food support, cuts fund by $134 billion over 10 years, that we could be deeming this to be passed. And I'm raising again, Mr. Speaker, the question about that use of Congress has adopted such concurrent resolution, meaning also the Senate.
The chair has been clear that the issue is a matter of debate, and the chair will not interpret the language of the resolution.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your lack of clarity. I raise this point of order because it's important to uncover whether or not the underlying rule for this natural resources bill is a natural resources bill. Also deems the Republican budget plan to end what Medicare as we know it, slash funding for SNAP. When it comes to the Republican budget, my Democratic colleagues are most definitely not asleep at the wheel. And we want to take this moment to shed light on what's going on here. Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of that prestigious committee, the House Committee on Budget, and a longtime advocate for sound budgetary policy. I recognize the importance of tackling our deficit and debt head on, carefully balancing both the spending and revenue raising sides of our ledger. But House Republicans, led by my dear colleague from Wisconsin, have put out a budget that is neither sound nor balanced. This budget finds a jaw-dropping 62% of its $5.3 trillion in non-defense budget cuts over 10 years from programs that serve the most vulnerable of our society, the poor, and I might add, the most vulnerable women and children, since we've just recently established in this last week that women were very important in our economy. In addition to the magnitude of these raw numbers, I want to make it clear that the Republican budget contains major departures from current policy. This budget heralds welfare reform as a vital victory and plots the next chapter of so-called reform for other areas of the safety net. Our core programs are not spared by this budgetary trick. This budget takes an aim at Medicare. We're told that by stripping Medicare of its entitled status, cutting $30 billion out of Medicare, that we're going to save it. We're going to save Medicare by subtracting. That is not the $30 billion. That's not the kind of math I learned at North Division High. And we're going to set seniors adrift in the private market. Now, this budget does nothing to cut the cost of health care in the private market. It only passes those costs on to seniors. The cuts to the SNAP program have not gotten as much attention as the Medicare cuts, even though they are cause for collective alarm. As we know, over half of our citizens in the United States, working people, many of them, found themselves with no other income. They had no job. We played phony baloney with the unemployment insurance. They had nothing except SNAP, formerly known as food stamps. And so they had no other income other than the food stamp program, SNAP. But yet we're going to cut $134 million out of this program and convert it again to a block grant, handcuff SNAP's ability to respond to its increased need. Mr. Speaker, can I ask you how much time I have remaining?
Gentlelady has 5½ minutes remaining.
I would like to reserve my time. I would like to yield now a couple of minutes to my good friend and neighbor, Representative Jan Schakowsky, from the great state of Illinois.
Gentlelady from Illinois is recognized for 2 minutes.